Yeah, so we're probably the largest domestic producer of tombstones. We have all sorts of patterns, all sorts of castings, and we machine them, per order. So whatever the hole pattern is that the customer would want. Do you want the holes on center? Do you want the holes off center? And then, of course, how do you want to build on the rock?
Tombstones, in my opinion, are they create so much value. You guys know this guy. I'm sure of it. I mean,
Hello.
Maybe it's just his voice, but I'm sure you've seen his famous face as well. One of the
think
most
the voice.
popular. Yeah, it got to be the voice,
It's the
right?
voice. It's not the face so much.
You got to keep talking a little bit, see if they recognize it.
Yeah. You might recognize me from a podcast. That might be where it is.
And Making Chips is kind of rebranding and doing something really exciting.
Yeah. New chapter.
Co-hosting.
Yeah.
Getting creative.
Only the best co-hosts.
Boring Bar.
Yeah. At
Hot
the Boring
Ones.
Bar.
Do we even want to share everything?
Well, so I did a post about what's new and the guest hosting model. We're calling it Making Chips Seasons. And we've got great guests like yourself who are going to not just be a guest, but be a guest host. And so you're taking the wheel. It's your episode. And in typical Tony Gunn fashion, there's some crazy ideas involved. So, and all I said on LinkedIn was that it was going to be spicy. So you might want to explain.
I'm not going to explain a thing.
Uh-oh.
I'm actually going to leave it just like that.
Yeah,
you have to tune in
we're
to
gonna
figure out what's
cliffhang
going
it.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, by the way, podcasting we mentioned, audio we mentioned, Nick's famous voice we mentioned. I will be bringing cameras for this one. That's how you know that it's important to tune in for multiple reasons. However, for today, in this moment, hanging out with Akuma, we are going to talk some of the advanced machine and engineering, AMROK, because you guys do a whole lot with your company.
Yeah.
But we're focused on this today, tombstone stuff.
Yeah.
Would you like to elaborate for the audience?
Yeah, so we're probably the largest domestic producer of tombstones. We have all sorts of patterns, all sorts of castings, and we machine them, per order. So whatever the hole pattern is that the customer would want. Do you want the holes on center? Do you want the holes off center? And then, of course, how do you want to build on the rock? How do you want to build on the AMROK tombstone? So what kind of fixtures would you like on your tombstone? What kind of clamping setup fits your shop and how you want to do business?
Tombstones, in my opinion, are they create so much value.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about horizontal machining versus vertical machining versus turning, and they all have their place. Let's not get that misconstrued at all. When I think about what can be done on a horizontal machine with the tombstones, working on four sides, with the chip evacuation, with the coolant evacuation, now that's the obvious part of machining it. However, we're talking about, do we buy straight from you? Do you have distributors? Are you local just in the U.S.? Are you global?
It goes both ways.
Because you know the MTD audience is global, and I want you to be as famous as possible, both vocally and with a face.
I'll be honest, we don't do a lot of export. It's big, heavy stuff, so it's expensive to ship it overseas. There's usually people, maybe they could bring me to carry them, but most of it's North America. You asked about distribution. So we'll work with like turnkey packages. So say the folks from Gossiger or Hartwig or Morris are selling a bunch of horizontals. We'll fill the pallet pool with our tombstones. And oftentimes we're designing like a full hydraulic fixture for, built into each of those tombstones for whatever they're doing. Could be manual, modular fixtures. It could be just plain tombstones if the customer wants to figure that out themselves. Or it could be a full engineered and built turnkey that we sell, as a package with the machine tool. So.
Are we sneaking into Mexico as well? Some at Latin
Yeah, you're
America?
helping me with that.
Yeah, well, you gave me a buzz the other day, so I want the audience to know as well that is either coming soon, coming now, when's it coming?
It's coming as soon as I get connected to the right partner down there. So.
Which one of them is it? Who out there, my Mexican audience right now, is watching this video?
What's that presenter you have down there that I have to meet?
Fernanda.
Yeah,
we love Fernanda.
I got to meet you, Fernanda, and I'll be there this summer.
So the thing I want to do, Nick, before I close this out, is I want the audience who doesn't know you, even though the company is incredibly famous, is that it is a family-run and owned company, several generations now, which we know the audience loves seeing family-owned stuff and supporting family-owned. So would you mind just giving a little bit of history?
I'll do the quick story. So in the late 50s, early 60s, my German immigrant grandfather came over and he invented a machine tool while he was working for a company, Ingersoll milling machine. Mm-hmm. So he and his team invented the first circular carbide production saw. So it's sawing through steel billet, rail for the railroad industry, things like that. And that kind of was like the big project that got everything started. After Ingersoll, he started a little like design consultancy, and he was just doing contract engineering, and eventually people needed that stuff to be made. So we started buying machine tools, and that's how Advanced Machine Engineering came to be. Now we've got all sorts of different business units. The AMROK group is the work holding business unit. We've got rod locking devices for actuators, which is the AMLOK in the fluid power group. We have a lot of partners from Europe that are kind of European roots. That we import products as the exclusive North American sales and service partner. So tool clamping inside the spindle, Satima for fall arrest safety on presses, Triag, which is a great modular system from Switzerland, all sorts of stuff. But it's all pretty much complementary to the machine tool world. And then our sister company, Hennig, does all the chip and coolant management, the machine protection. So mostly like complementary peripherals that go with the machine tool, but not so much the machine tool itself, unless it's a big saw.
Nick, is there anything you guys don't do?
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that we don't do. Like we try to stay in our lane and do complementary peripheral things so that our biggest customers don't become our biggest competitors.
Well, that was the professional answer, and that is true.
Well, we probably can do a lot.
There you go.
We just choose.
There it is.
Can do and should do. Two different things, right?
So last thing, and I'm going to let you go because we're all very, very busy people.
Yeah.
You are a Manchester United fan, right?
No, absolutely not. A Liverpool fan. I mean, I hate to say what just happened, though.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 7-0.
So let's not timestamp this.
7-0. And you can't cut that out of the bloopers because I have to give it to my guy here. 7. It just kept going.
I was about to say Paul Jones and Joe Reynolds. Let's see if we can get Nick some tickets to the Liverpool game. But now, since he said that, forget it. I changed my mind. Interview's over.